Imagine seeing an horrific car crash and being the first person on the scene. You want to help, but you can't get that person out of the car.
Yeah, this is what happened to radio and TV star Simon Barnett last week, and we've got to hear more about this. He joins us now live from Christchurch with his More FM co-host Gary McCormick. Lads, good evening to you. Nice to have you on the programme.
Hey Duncan, hi Heather, how are you?
Very, very good. Hey, Simon, just talk us through, mate, what actually happened in Taupo that day.
Well, it was just on Friday and it was just horrendous. I've talked about it to Gary. It was just one of those things you never expect to happen. I was following behind a couple of vehicles and one did a U-turn on the main highway, and the poor woman, it was a complete accident, she just wasn't thinking, and then the IMAX behind her just smashed straight into the side of her. And it was just dramatic in the sense that I saw it all unfolding and I thought, there is no escape. This is going to be a fatality. I really genuinely thought that. I slammed my car into the side of the road and ran across, and then the poor woman was stuck in her car. And it was just ghastly, actually.
Yeah, so what did you have to do? You had to get involved, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, several people stopped to help. I was the first one there, so that's the only reason I probably did anything about it. But she was just screaming, get a knife, get a knife. And she had two little children in the back of the car and they were crying. And it was, honestly, it was just an awful, awful scene. And the car horn was blaring, the airbags had deployed. And I really thought that somebody was going to be dead. And then she was saying, get a knife. And I thought, why on earth does she want a knife? So I jumped into the car and she was beside herself, obviously. And the seatbelt was locked in there. And so then I jumped out of the car. Some vehicles had backed up, one of which was a camper van, and I screamed at the person in the camper van, give me a knife, give me a knife. And she got a knife, thankfully, a big bread knife, jumped back into the car and we cut the seatbelt and was able to free her. So, yeah, but it was horrible.
Gary, this has happened to you as well, hasn't it?
That's right. About 3 years ago, me, Tim Shabbolt and I were on the road, and luckily I had the window down. I heard screams from the side of the road, and I said, stop the car, stop the car. Went back, a car had rolled off the road and had rolled upside down a bank. And there was a young woman there who's luckily survived all this with the seatbelt around her neck, and the car was upside down. And as with Simon, there was a smell of petrol leaking, and it wasn't good. And I had a hell of a job getting the seatbelt off and around her neck. It took me probably 5 or 6 minutes, and I was lying upside down in the car, which is upside down. And at that point, I thought to myself, I'm always going to have a knife with me in the car. And that's exactly what I do now, up to this point.
You know, and that's the bizarre thing, because I knew Gary's story. So when it was unfolding, I was like, you idiot, Simon, why didn't you listen? And we just presume it'll never happen. I tried with all my might to get that seatbelt off that dear woman. I honestly, and I'm not weak, I was just trying so hard, it just wouldn't free. And you just don't have a prayer in that situation unless you've got a knife.
OK, so are you guys going to give us a demo of how hard it is to get somebody out of a car?
Well, yeah.
We are going to do it, and I'm going to be the victim, so I'll hop
You
in
play
the car,
victim, Gary.
And I've just had the accident, so all right. Bit of acting will break out here.
Once Gary sits in a car, it is difficult to dislodge him, even at the best of times. Right, so...
Seatbelt on, this is the important part.
So what happened to me was the poor woman, the IMAX was actually wedged into her side, and so she couldn't release the seatbelt. And you know, you just can't get in there, and I couldn't get across. I tried with everything to pull this off. There's just no chance.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is the screaming part. Now, we've got a new device here. This is something that's been recommended to us, and we're going to put it to the test here. This has both a blade in it and something to break the window should you need it. So OK, Simon, let's see.
So there's no way you can release that. So you pull this little tag here. In theory, I've never used this before, but you just...
Watch my throat, mate. It's not too far away.
Oh, look at that. So that...
Hey, now, look, that is brilliant. Right there.
Show us that blade. Simon,
wee...
show us that blade. Let's go in there and have a look at this.
That's impressive.
Oh, there it is.
There's just a tiny razor blade in here.
That's impressive.
So it wedges through there.
And you can hang that on your keyring.
And the police officer said to me...
I was really hoping, Simon, that you might smash the window with the remainder of this little device. Are you allowed to do that?
Well, don't get too excited.
Well, that's it. Sorry to turn my back. Now,
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, right here.
Here's what people don't realise. This big iron bar...
Do you mind if I duck while you do this?
Yeah, Dave, this is a full-on iron bar. Watch this.
Oh.
So I had to give that a pretty good nudge, but with this thing...
You did, mate. Got a really good nudge there. Well done.
Little black dot, no pressure, no bar.
Oh, look at that. That's amazing.
So you saw with that big bar, I had to smoke that, you know, like, and that's a solid iron bar. That's just one press, corner of the window, and it just shatters it and then tap it out.
Are you going to ask Gary if he's okay?
Don't worry about me, Simon. I'll be fine. I'm just covered in glass. But that's good. I thought that was very impressive, mate. Well done.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
Everyone
called
should have
resqme.
one of those.
I tell you what,
thing
it's
is-
the interesting thing about
resqme.
that, Simon. It'll be so easy for every New Zealander to have one of these on their key ring. Simple as.
Exactly. I mean, that's the crazy thing, Duncan. Oh, we laugh about it now and you can talk, but at the time of an accident, it's the most frightening thing, hearing children screaming and people screaming. It is horrific. You do that and just makes life so much easier. Keep that in the glove box.
Everyone should have one.
Hey, we appreciate your time on the show. Gary, well played. You put yourself, you put your body on the line. We appreciate it.
I believed it.
And a very ample body it is too.
I reckon he's looking good. He's only halfway.
Dust myself off, all right?
He's only halfway through his
thank you.
career, you see.
Simon Barnett
Good
and
guys.
Gary McCormick. What brilliant lads. So I got you one. There you go.
That's great. Where's that? Now, where's that knife? There we go.
Yeah.
I'll get that
I
away
was
from
a little
you.
bit, actually, I was too timid to even pull it.
Yeah.
But apparently the advice is, if you do get one of these things, OK, we found it online, we told the AA about it, they'd never even heard of it, they thought it's a great idea. If you do get one, don't apparently put it in the glove box, which is what you'd want to do.
Key rings.
Key ring or
Yes.
centre console.
You can hang it on your belt with your phone.
Oh, that
wouldn't be too cool.
neat,
Hey,
wouldn't
we
it?
also have to say a couple of thank yous.
Yeah, thank you to Dean from Dino's Towing who brought that car in for us and let us do that to the car, and also to the guys at Turner's Car Auction who made it possible, who actually I think gave us the car.
No, they've been good, Turners.
Yeah,
haven't
thank
they,
you,
for a couple of
Turners, for
weeks.
letting us,
Yeah, okay,
social
good
it
guys.